Всем привет, с вами Коняша, и мы продолжаем проходить игру Contrast. В прошлый раз, как бы это сказать, было... я жестоко злоупочила, но на самом деле эта игра заставляет задуматься, что ты делаешь. Это не просто какая-нибудь аркада, где ты бегаешь, прыгаешь и все. Заставляет задуматься, что делать нам дальше. Ну, извиняюсь, конечно, за мою злоупоченность, но как получается. Итак, мы продолжаем игру за нашу главную героиню, которая может сливаться в тень в городе теней. Ну что ж, посмотрим, что из этого выйдет. Так, где мы? Так. Ладно, пойдемте посмотрим, что, где да как. Тут какой-то есть спуск. Нет, подожди, я хочу узнать, что у нас там. Что у нас здесь? Что это? Пляж? Что? Это пляж? А купаться можно? Все ясно. Понятно. И взаимодействовать нельзя. Ну что это за пляж? Это никакой не пляж. Даже взаимодействовать ни с чем нельзя. Ничего украсть нельзя. Оу. А это что? Что это? Куда я иду? Угу. Ну ладно. Привет.
Hey, has anyone seen the princess puppet? We can't really start the story without her.
That sounds like Daddy.
Darn. Where did I put her?
Ну, давай сыграем роль принцессы.
Ah, there she is. Once upon a time, there was a princess who lived in a castle with her father, the king. The king loved her very much because daddies loved their daughters. Unfortunately, the kingdom also had an ogre who was eating travelers because ogres do that.
Кстати, насчет имени Огр. Вам ничего не напоминает? Огр из игры Mad Father. Орк или Огр. Неважно.
So, the king did what kings do and promised that anyone who slew the ogre would get to marry his only daughter, the princess, and become king when he died. The king's lands were very far away, and the ogre was very large, so only one knight showed up. His name was Fred, and he fell immediately in love with the princess. Fred was a brave knight, and he marched off the next morning, singing a brave song as loudly as he could.
Где?
After several days had passed, the princess got to wondering what had happened to her future husband. So she set off into the forest to look for him. The princess tracked Fred's footprints through a strange wilderness full of scary sounds and hidden dangers. Chasms filled with razor-sharp bamboo. Fortunately, she was a very... Unfortunately, she impaled herself on the bamboo. Wait, that's not what happened.
Упс. Оп. Упс. Ну? Ну, я жива осталась. В чем проблема?
Unfortunately, she impaled herself on the bamboo. Wait, that's not what happened. Unfortunately, she impaled herself on the bamboo. Wait, that's not what happened.
Упс. Ладно, бывает. Тихо!
Wait, that's not what happened.
Так, надо аккуратно. Но! Ясно, понятно.
She came to a wide river filled with snapping crocodiles. She couldn't even swim. So what do you think she did?
She ran on top of their heads.
That's right. It was a magical forest where the plants seemed to know each other. She had to use magic mushrooms to get high or up.
Блин. Окей. Блин. Да что ж такое-то? Так, сначала эту, потом ту, потом ту. Вы поняли, о чем я? Так, так, так. Оп. Как же это сделать? Как же это сделать?
Unfortunately, she impaled herself on the bamboo. Wait, that's not what happened.
Я поняла, поняла. Так. Блин. Ща.
She learned to use some bendy tree branches to fling herself across a patch of deadly sharp bamboo. As the sun was setting, she came to the giant ogre's campsite. And there, the princess discovered that the ogre had captured Fred.
Кошмар.
Tree as a snack. The ogre did not appreciate visitors at all. Even Fred seemed a little embarrassed to see her.
Упс. Бывает. Ясно. Понятно. Я практически поняла. Я. Что за... Я снова продолжаю. Я снова с вами, друзья. Просто... На моем рабочем столе у меня все это время Фрап записывал все видео на рабочий стол. У меня на нем не осталось памяти. Мне пришлось на диск D все перемещать, траля-ля, траля-ля. Я думаю, что за фигня? В общем, продолжаем играть. Капец, конечно. Так. Ну что ж, давай, оп. Нет, давай. Ты должен на бревно ударить. Да почему? Давай. Нет. Упс. Упс. Похоже, я забыл выйти из контакта. Я забыла выйти из контакта! О. Сколько можно? Я не знаю. Так, на голову. На голову.
But the princess was a woman of action, and she was nimble, and the ogre was clumsy. And
все, понятно.
that's when you make fun of them.
Понятно.
You should never make fun of people, but with ogres, sometimes you have to.
Я все поняла. Блин. Эть. Ага. Теперь я думаю, я окончательно поняла. Так, раз, два, три. Ждем, ждем, ждем. Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три. Раз, два, три.
And so the princess tricked the ogre and rescued Fred. Fred didn't feel too good about it. He really loved the princess. Fortunately, the king told him about a giant spider that he could slay in order to win the princess's hand. So Fred marched off to the lair of the giant spider, singing a brave song, a little less loudly than before. After several days had passed, the princess got to wondering what had happened to her future husband. So she went off looking for him again.
Ясно.
Fred's footprints led her into a dark and creepy cavern, full of strange dripping sounds, kind of like the basement at school. Her footsteps echoed and echoed, until it sounded like someone was... Unfortunately, she impaled herself.
Как же мне нравится этот бамбук!
Unfortunately, she impaled herself on the bamboo. Wait, that's not what happened.
А чё как?
She came to a vast pit filled with vicious.
Да
Unfortunately,
как?
she impaled herself on the bamboo. Wait, that's not what happened. Soon she came to a vast pit filled with vicious, deadly spikes. It was much too big to jump over, but far off, she could hear moaning. She thought it might be Fred. So what do you think she did?
I know.
What?
She used an umbrella.
What?
Like that nanny in that movie.
This is the Middle Ages, honey. Where would she get an umbrella?
I don't know, but that's what she used.
I don't think I have an umbrella.
Well, you better find one, because she used an umbrella.
Where am I supposed to get an umbrella?
А.
Oh, there we go. So, the princess bravely threw herself into the air, slowing her fall using an umbrella. Wait, that's not what happened. Deeper and deeper into the cavern she floated. She thought she could hear Fred moaning, but maybe it was only the wind.
Серьезно? Что случилось? Хей!
Deeper and deeper
Так,
into the
я ни на
cavern
что
she
не
floated.
нажимаю.
She thought she could hear Fred moaning.
А, нет,
It
нажимаю.
was only the wind.
Надо быть аккуратнее. Надо. Оп! Оп, Gangnam Style.
Deeper and deeper into the cavern she floated. She thought she could hear Fred moaning, but maybe it was only the wind.
Фу.
Unfortunately, she impaled herself on the Wait, that's not what happened.
Там все в этом бамбуке. Откуда в паучьем логове, простите, бамбук?
Deeper and deeper into the cavern she floated. Unfortunately, she impaled herself on a bamboo.
Меня это напрягает.
Wait, that's not what happened.
Окей. Будем считать по дублям. Дубль номер 2.
Deeper and deeper into the cavern she floated. She thought she could hear Fred moaning, but maybe it was only the wind.
Я забыла выключить контакт. Так. Тихо.
Finally, she landed softly, right in a spider's web. Fortunately, it was a very old web, and she was able to break free. Unfortunately,
Воу.
the web was the only thing holding up a giant boulder.
Воу. Ясно. Понятно.
Suddenly, a giant spider jumped out of the shadows.
О,
and
господи,
attacked
беги.
She ran and climbed and jumped and climbed, but the giant spider was very good at climbing too. It had 8 legs, and the princess only had 2.
О, господи, такой напряг.
Fortunately, the princess remembered how the webs were holding up boulders.
Poor spider.
Нет,
Finally,
мне
she
так не
found
кажется.
Fred. He was all
Конечно.
wrapped up like a present for the giant spider's girlfriend. He was dreadfully embarrassed about having to be rescued again. He really loved the princess. The princess decided he was cute. Fortunately, the king told him about a dragon that he could slay in order to win the princess's hand and stop being so embarrassed. So Fred marched off to the mountaintop of the dragon.
И нам
singing a
придется
brave song. Very
снова опять спасать его.
After a few days, the princess got to wondering
Why her dad kept trying to give her away?
that too. But she thought about Fred, so she went off to find him.
Ooh.
The dragon's mountain was cold, and the wind howled at her to turn back. There were rock slides and fiery chasms, but she was very brave and nimble, just like you. She wasn't going to be put off by a few deadly dangers.
Так. Окей, меня задавил камень. Без проблем. А, нет, 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 нет.
Up and up she climbed. When she got cold, she thought about the hot buttered muffin she would make once she got Fred home. You still like muffins?
I love muffins.
The princess hoped Fred liked muffins.
А, может. Окей. Окей. Еще раз или нет? Не надо, нет. Надо. Окей, хорошо. Надо.
When the princess got to the lair of the dragon, she was not very surprised to see Fred hanging from the roof of the dragon's cave. So she taunted the dragon until it roared its fiery breath at her. Finally, burning away the ropes that were tying up Fred. And so the princess and Fred lived happily ever after. Fred never had to go on another adventure again, and they had hot buttered muffins every morning. There is another version of the story where the princess flew off on the dragon's back to have a life full of adventures, but that's for another day.
Yay, Dawn, you did it!
Угу. Теперь мы знаем имя нашей главной героини. Дон. Ее зовут Дон. Ее зовут Дон. Окей. Что ж. Здесь ничего, здесь ничего. Вау, здесь можно пройти. Привет.
Look, there's the balloon. It got snagged, so they can't pull it down.
Так, думаю, на этом я закончу. И мы продолжим в следующей серии. А на этом всем удачи, всем пока. С вами была Куняша.